Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if it's your first time, welcome to my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe because I'm going to be doing some reviews on different shows and all. And just so you know, this is going to definitely be spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the new show Teacup. This show's starting off like with a bang. It's really cool. So it's only 2 episodes in, so again, warning, heavy spoilers. The title of this one, the first episode, is Think About the Bubbles. And we start off with a lady who has zip ties around her wrist, running through the forest, of the woods, and it's broad daylight. She's bloody. Her hair's like all over the place. So she's scared for her life. Something definitely happened to her. Someone had captured her, and she's fleeing, but she's using this rock to like get rid of the zip ties. And there's like a dog that's following her, kind of stalking her, or looking off in the distance and watching her as she's like getting these zip ties off of her. She's also talking and saying gunshot, kamate, which I don't speak Spanish, so if I said that wrong, don't come for me. So she's saying kamate, which I looked up is calm down. Then she says men strange, and she says está mintiendo, she's lying, which it's translated. She doesn't actually say it in English. And then she says murder maker. So to me, I'm just wondering, like, trying to figure it out. So she's saying gunshot. I'm like, is she saying that the gun is the murder maker? She's lying and saying, men are strange. So something is going on with her. Like, whatever happened to her is definitely traumatic. So then it cuts over to a little, what I thought was a book, but it's or it could be a book, I don't know, but it's called Nilsson the Point. And I looked up the title, see if it was a real thing, and apparently it was like a song that was on like a kids show or something like in 1970. So yeah, I wasn't born yet, so but yeah, and it seemed to be popular, and it's probably still a little popular because when I looked it up on YouTube and everything, it still have like over 1 million views and stuff like that. So it's a cute little song, and it's like someone singing, he's singing about his arrow, which I'm guessing is the love of his life and stuff like that. And it's a cute little 2-minute song. If y'all want to listen, go look it up. Then it cuts over to another big, huge book that's in this little boy's room called The Random House Dictionary of the English Language. So it's really big and thick, but, I guess maybe he's, he thirsts for knowledge. I don't know. I just mentioned it because it showed it, and maybe it means something later on. So then we see some wasp that's on his window, and his mom is in there, I guess, to get rid of this wasp, but to they capture it, and she's gonna capture it and take it outside. Definitely not a black household, because listen, I have wasp spray Ray on hand for everything. Like, I spray everything. Any bugs that come inside the house, they have a death wish. And any bugs outside the house, y'all fine. But inside the house is a no-no. So she sees this wasp, and she gets a teacup and she puts it over it. And I'm guessing this is like on a foreshadow because her, the whole show is named Teacup. And she, put this teacup over this wasp, and then she's listening to it buzz, and she tells him to listen to it buzz, and she calls it a tempest in a teacup. And so he's like, what's a tempest? And, she said it's a really big storm. So yeah, these things are kind of like foreshadowing something that's going to go on in the show, something crazy. So then downstairs, there's an older woman who is in the kitchen, and she's cooking, and she's listening to music and just jamming out. And then she gets that like screeching radio noise, like this high pitched screech that is terrible, hurts her ears and everything. And she, it's a high frequency. So, she messes with the radio. So, something's going on. It's messing with the frequency. Outside, Maggie, she meets up with Scott, who is her husband, and you can tell something is off with them, something is going on. She doesn't want to talk about it, so of course, naturally, we assume he's cheating or been caught or something on that nature, because she really has no words for him. I hear you, girl. But so as she's holding this wasp in this teacup to release it outside because her son didn't want to come. I don't blame him because I'm not getting stung by no wasp. But Yeah, she takes it outside and he wants us to see her release it. So she goes in front of his window. Like she has this little encounter with him. She, really don't want to talk about it right now with him, whatever's going on. And she releases the wasp and she leaves, thinks nothing of it. Well, he sees this little goat go out into the woods and here he comes. He don't want to walk outside for this little wasp, but he gonna go outside and go all the way into these woods to find this little goat. And I'm like, little boy, go back in the house. Okay. Just tell somebody the little goat went out there. Like, don't go out there in the woods. Knew that this wasn't gonna be bad. And it's broad daylight and I'm still not going out there in no woods looking for no goat. So as Arlo, which is the little boy, he goes walking into the woods, not telling anybody he went out there. He just walks out into the woods and you can see behind him the lady that was chanting, murder maker, she's watching him. So yeah, not gonna be good. So then we cut to Maggie and she's in the kitchen talking to her mother-in-law, and apparently they had some kind of heated argument or something before, and she apologizes and they make amends, and she's happy that she's there, and she's like, whatever you're cooking smells delicious. Let me go and get the kids. Everybody come downstairs so that we can all eat, as a family. That's when they notice that Arlo is missing. It is now nighttime and Arlo is still with his little butt out in the woods, deep, dark woods, looking for this little goat. And I'm like, little boy, now he's lost or whatever. So now they run around like, where's Arlo? And I don't know what's up with these shows and stuff where parents are just not watching their kids or just don't care. Like the father, like he is just like, oh, he's just hiding. He's probably just hiding. He, scared me the other day and everything. I'm sure he's in this house somewhere hiding, because apparently back in the day when their daughter was younger, she was hiding also. And she, the mother was like frantic. They didn't find her for a long time. They called the cops and everything, only to find out little girl was inside the oven, hiding in there, and she couldn't get out because the oven door was the oven door was too heavy, and she couldn't get out. So she was sleeping in there. So that, of course, this is bringing back memories, and but he's just like, we'll find him. He's hiding, so it's like nonchalant, like he don't care. It's nothing to him. So in the midst of all of this and everything, these neighbors come and they are frantic. They bring their horse. Their horse has, been doing something to itself on the fence. Like earlier, I forgot to mention, the animals are going crazy. Like she, I guess, is a vet, and she take care of horses, and they have their own horses. And when she went out there in the daytime, like they were a little frantic, scared, riled up and all. And so now these neighbors, their animals also was acting crazy. This horse looks like it has been through it. It is frantic. It is not here for it. It is not here for any of this that is going down in this town. And it seems like it was trying to break free of that fence so that it could get on with its life. So yeah, they bring the horse over to them so that they could help them. And they said, our animals were acting crazy too. So in the meanwhile, she's still like, we got to find my son. And the father is telling the daughter, go look for him. And the mother-in-law is like, I'll go look in the house. He's not in the house. So he tells his daughter to go with the neighbor's son in the deep, dark woods at night to go look for this little boy. And they're going to take him, and the other girl, the other neighbor, the female, is going to take the front of the woods, the front of the house, the woods in the front, and they're going to search there. Mind you, they had a little glance, him and the neighbor lady, when they pulled up, and he looked at her like, did you say something? And she looking back at him like, no, so don't you say nothing. Like, so I'm like, you two got something going on. Also, when they were inside the house and they were talking, whatever, he passes her some alcohol, him and his mother-in-law and her, just kind of calm their nerves. And he slides her the glass, and it's kind of like a little prolonged little touch or something like that, whatever. The mother-in-law, she peeped it. Well, she's not his mother-in-law. She's his mom. But she peeped that thing. She was like, And I was like, because, yeah, it's you too, or whatever. So he asked her to go and look for some flashlights inside their living room. And I'm just like, why are you bossing other people around in your house or whatever. But anyway, so as he has her looking for flashlights inside the living room, he sneaks in there and he's just like, did you tell him? And she's like, of course I didn't. I would have told you if I told him. And she was like, I guess he told her, well, I told Maggie. And, she knows that it happened, but she don't know with who. She about to find out. She is really about to find out. Because, like, how dare you? And so they go off to look for him inside the woods and all. And so Meryl and Nicholas, they're looking for Arlo, and they find the goat, but they hear like a little growl. So they end up bumping into her dad and the other neighbor that's looking for Arlo, the little boy. And she has the goat, and there's still no Arlo, but they all hear the growl of this animal outside. So they don't know what this is. So he's like, let's get home. So everybody hightails it back to the house. Meanwhile, Maggie was taking care of the horse in the barn. He had like something like a piece of wood in his neck, and she had to pull it out, because regardless, she had to pull it out. And they were scared that it would nick an artery or something, but she's seen that it wasn't that deep, and it didn't, it's not good, but it's not, it's not hitting the artery. So she comes outside and everything, and she's like, have you found him and everything? And he said, no, but I'm about to. So he goes inside the garage, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, he gonna go get him, go get his shotgun or whatever. He goes in there, he goes to get a bat. And I'm like, a bat? A bat? What's that gonna do? Like, no, get a shotgun. Like, I know that you have one. You out here on the farm. Like, there's no way you don't have a gun. So another neighbor pulls up and everything, because, I forgot, they found the goat in the dog. These other neighbor dog, they found him and the goat, but they didn't find his little boy. So the other neighbors that's been looking for their dog, they roll up on the scene, and he's like, I'm about to go back out there because I think there's a coyote. And dude's like, it's a big dog, and he don't have no collar or nothing. He's probably rabid. So, I know you had kids, so we was coming over here to warn you, and, they were happy to be reunited with their dog. But he's like, let me tell you, I'm about to go out there. We about to handle this. So he goes and get his shotgun, and I'm like, exactly. And he's like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, if it was my kid, like, I would want to go out there. And he's like, oh, it's not your kid. Excuse you. You just had the other neighbors looking, and that was not her kid neither. And you had them looking. But then when he goes out there, that he's going to be protective, and he got this gun, and you're like, oh, no, that's not your kid. You would only have to tell me once. Oh, okay, then. You go handle it. Because dude's like, what you going to do, play baseball? Like, why you have a bat? And I'm like, exactly. So anyway, as this is going on, here comes Arlo out of the woods, stumbling up to them, and they're like, Arlo. And he looked like he has been through it. He got like these marks on his arms and stuff. It looked like somebody had grabbed him. So, the mom is naturally, of course, asking him, are you okay? Did, somebody grab you? Do you know who grabbed you out in the woods? I forgot to mention, while Arlo was out in the woods, the murder maker lady, she found him, and she, pounced on him. And, there's a scene where she's over him and he's passed out, but then he wakes up and she's over him and her mouth is open, and, she's staring at him and he's staring at her. And then there's like an exchange, but it's through like the eye, and it's like this color thing, laser or something that like goes over her eyes, go over his eyes. And so whatever is in her then transferred to him. So when the mom finds him and, she's asking him if he's okay, he is saying, Buzz, goat, Wops, fine, men, strange, murder maker, esta mintiendo, run, ran, hide. So yeah, Buzz, goat, Wops, fine, men, strange, murder maker, esta mintiendo, run, ran, hide. So I'm thinking like, so is it like an something that is picking up different things that has happened to each of the people that it possessed, and it's like, kind of trying to compute, I guess is a good word for it, what's going on, because she was talking about, the gunshot, and then she was saying, calm down, murder maker and stuff, and men strange. And then this, whatever's in him is now talking about Buzz, Goat, Wops, Fine. So it's now saying the things that happened to him during that day, and also adding it to what happened to her. So yeah, that's crazy. So then while that is going on, it cuts over to someone pulling up on the farm, like out in the distance, and someone gets out and they have on a gas mask, and they come out and they start spraying this blue line of paint, going up the road towards the farmhouse. And then he's like staring at the farmhouse, and end scene. That's the end of the first episode. And I have to say, it has definitely had me intrigued. I was ready to see more because I was like, I know it wasn't that much that went on, in the first episode. But, the little bit that did happen, we got introduced to some craziness going on. And I am here to find out more. So now I'm going to go on to the second episode, because 2 episodes, I guess, dropping each week. At least I'm hoping. I don't know for sure and everything. I just happened to catch it with 2 episodes, so we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and review the second episode as well. So the second episode is entitled My Little Lighthouse, and it opens up with the light. All the lights are like flickering in the house in the animal clinic, and everyone is still outside and they're frantic, and the last person that came out with the gas mask on is still looking at the town, and yeah, everything is going crazy, lights going off and on, and so they trying to call 911. They don't get a signal, and so they are trying to get the little boy Arlo to the hospital. So they decide to get in a car and just drive him there. So the dad jumps inside his car. He tries to start it up, not working. The neighbor that brought over the horse, he jumps in his car. He tries to start his car up. It's not working. And then the neighbor with the gun, he's like, listen, I'll get you to the hospital. Jumps in his car. Same thing. It's not working. So electronics are not working. The lights were still flickering at that point and everything, but then it just shuts off and dies out completely. So Arlo's dad, he's like, you know what, help me saddle up these horses because I'm about to get my son to this hospital. Let's go. And then Donald, the one with the gun, he's like, he hears the dog in the woods. So, he's looking like, I'm about to go out there. And, Arlo's dad is like, where are you going? And he's like, yeah, I'm about to go handle that. So that's what's going to happen right now. So he about to go out in these woods, and that's not good. And he's also thinking like somebody's out there that hurt your child, because what happened to him is not, from this dog or whatever, but he's about to go handle it. He's about to go find out maybe that person owns that dog, but he's about to go handle both of them. So everybody retreats into the home, and Maggie is giving an assessment over Arlo, and she's like, she don't think that it's his blood on him. And then, the neighbor that's messing with her husband is like, you're so calm. And the daughter's like, oh, when things get tough, mom's calm all the time. She's calm. And then the mom is like, trying to get her son to follow the light with his eyes. He's just like staring forward. And then she says, I think he might have a concussion. And then he just snaps out of it like, I don't have a concussion. Like, okay. Like he heard this conversation the whole time and just was not paying attention to them. So get this, as she's, wiping his wounds, he's like, what's going on? What happened? And he goes, ouch. And so the sister's like, is it stop ouch or like grin and bear it? So then he like smiles, and then they're like, oh, you're faking. And she's just like, he's like, I'm not faking. And she's like, yes, you are. You just want to be the center of attention. Now, neighbor that's been screwing Maggie's husband says, aren't you the one that was locked in that got yourself locked inside the oven? And Maggie is done put 2 and 2 together. She's like, looking like, this look on her face like, why would you know that? Like, excuse you, how would you know? unless my husband has been, trading little bedtime secrets with you. So I'm just like, oh, girl, you done been had, you done been found out. And she like, Ma, I thought that story was a secret. And she looking like in her own head, like, yeah, it was a secret. I never told it. So that means somebody did. So Maggie asks them because she's going to give him a bath. She says he's too dirty for cotton balls. And she kind of basically sends everybody out so that they can do something so she can have a moment alone with her son. And then she asks him, I need you to tell me who did this to you. And he goes, I don't know who did that. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, you would say, I don't know who did this. You wouldn't say, I don't know who did that. So, yeah, something there. So Arlo is like, I do know one thing. We got to get up out of here. And we got to get up out of here now. And so she's like, no, I'm going to wash you up, going to clean you up. We're not going anywhere. And then he starts back. Wasp brave, murder maker. Wasp brave, murder maker. And he runs out the bathroom, knocking Nicholas down. And Nicholas hits his head and he's bleeding from the back of his head. So Arlo mom chases him down and she kind of bear hugs him. And, she's trying to calm him down. And he's still chanting, high die, gunshot, teacup, brave. So Don's wife and the neighbor that's sleeping with Maggie's husband and the mother-in-law is in the kitchen, and they're trying to find something to do, so Don's wife is like, what, maybe I should just walk home, call 911. Nobody's gonna bother me that now that I have my dog with me, so I should be fine. And mother-in-law is like, everybody should just stay here, just stay put. But she's like, no, I want to go there and I want to call 911. I'll be fine. So she starts asking, what was he saying? What was he mumbling? And do they think that he could have done it to himself? And so, of course, his grandma's like, no, he couldn't. He didn't do that to himself. And then she starts talking about when she was younger and how her glands and everything out of nowhere had swole up. And she was, she had a fever and all of that. And, her mom was worried, took her to the hospital, and come to find out she had cat scratch fever. And they're laughing, and she's like, yeah, you can laugh and all. And she was like, they was like, that's not a thing. And she's like, no, for real. Like, a cat outside had scratched her, and she had, her glands were swollen, and she caught fever, and she was in the hospital for a while. So I don't know if that has something to do with what's going on with Arlo, but they threw it in there for a reason. And then it cuts to James and the other neighbor running because they see a car on the road. Gas mask guy had just finished doing his little blue line, got back inside his car, took off his gas mask, and he's, about to leave. And he sees them running and up to him in the back, mirror, in the back, in the back window. So he puts his gas mask back on. He gets his dry erase marker and his dry erase board, and he steps out the car, puts up his little hand like, stop. And that would freak me out. So they look like, what in the hell? And they automatically stop, like, what's going on? Yeah, I would have stopped too. Somebody step out their car looking like that. But clearly his car is working because the lights are on and they need to get to the hospital. So they stop in their tracks though, but they need him to get them to the hospital. So gas mask guy, he starts pointing at that blue line, right? And he, traces it, like basically points to it, how long he drew it. And, basically tells them like, with his hands, like, don't step over that line. So naturally, they're like, what's going on? Like, he's like trying to explain, we need your car. My son is hurt. We don't have power. We don't have cell service. And the other dude is like, bruh, we don't even know if he is the one that did that to your son. And he's like, listen, like, we need him to get us out of here. So he's like, you're the only one that can take us. Your car is clearly working. And he starts walking towards the line and walking towards him. And gas mask guy is having none of that. Pulls out his gun and points it at him. And they're like, what in the hell is happening? Like, what is your problem, dude? And at this point, you like, hold up. Okay, so are you saving them? Are you saving yourself? Because like, what's going on with this line? Because you got a gas mask on, but I do see behind them, it looked like a foggy mist or something, but it definitely could be gas. And he's like, that's not getting out of here. But then if it's gas, like a mist or whatever, how is it contained into one little area? I don't know. But wherever he drew this blue line, he does not want them crossing that joint. So we're back in the house with Mom and Arlo, and she's patching him up. He grabs these little scissors and he tries to attack her. So she's, she jumps out the way and she grabs him and she's trying to rip these little scissors out of his hand. And he's saying, goat brave, run hide, wasp die, gunshot. Bruh, what does this mean? Like, what are you talking about, bruh? I need you to form a proper sentence. So then he starts saying, wasp brave, murder maker, ran, hide, woman go. And she's looking like, what in the world? And then, she wrestles the scissors out of his hands and he collapses in her arms because she's like, stop. And, he comes back to himself and he's like, it's not me, Ma. I'm not doing this. So then Arlo says, he's scared, what's going on, what's happening. And she's like, I don't know. And, she said, I'm scared too. And he's like, well, Dad said you never get scared. And she was like, oh, I get scared, And he was like, when have you been scared? And she says, when his sister got locked in or was lost. And she's like, you want to know where she was? And he was like, yeah. And she's like, in the oven. And she said she was scared. And then she said, I was scared for a long time even after that. And she said, I was so scared that I told your dad to never tell anyone about it. And that is their secret. So Miss Neighbor Lady, knowing that her daughter was locked in the oven and he told that deep of a secret. Now, mind you, she is way older now, this girl. She's, probably 16 or something. She's in her teens anyway. And you went and told some neighbor lady. Yeah, that's not just a casual conversation, bruh. So that's how she knows for sure that that's her. That's the one that he was messing with. Could you imagine being in her house, being around her kids and, talking to them all nonchalant like that, talking about something? Well, remember when you was locked in the oven? Bro, girl, she is good. She is very calm and stressful situations. I give her that because I don't think that I could have held that in. I probably would have forgot about like little Arlo's little problem. And I'd have had it out with her. Like, get out my house. I don't care where you go. You're not going to stay here. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way, bruh. And him too. Y'all too, both of y'all could go. Because I don't care. I don't care about no line. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about there's no electricity. Y'all could get out, bounce. Anyway, I had to woosah. I'm back, y'all. I just can't. With mistresses and then you coming up in their house and stuff like that and acting like you their friend. That just burns me up. So yeah, back to the show. So he sees that she's upset, so he asks her, can she sing the song? And so she's like, right now? And he's like, yeah. So she starts singing this song and it's like about a lighthouse. And he starts singing with her too. He casually gets up and he goes to get the teacup that she used earlier, for the wasp. And he gets some marbles out of his little marble container and he starts putting the marbles on the floor. And then he covers it with the teacup. Now, I've counted 9 neighbors, not including the woman, the murder maker woman. So 9 neighbors that's there at on the farm, and this teacup has like an image of like a forest going around it, and he puts them all in a little bundle and then he covers it with this teacup, and then he tells her that he's her little lighthouse. So then I know people know what lighthouses are for, and I do know what they're for, but I said let me look it up. And it says lighthouses are structures that emit bright lights and serve as navigational aids for ships and boats. So, this is like something that he's maybe saying that he is, there to help them. I don't know, because he also was the one that took the little scissors and tried to kill her. So I don't know. Which one are you? Are you the lighthouse that's helping, that's going to help them and be this beacon of light? Or are you the one there to, to kill them? It's crazy. Don, he is still out there in the woods looking for whoever might have attacked the child and looking for this dog. He got his weapon with him. And he's talking to himself casually, and he's like, dominoes are falling. He was like, COVID BS. And then he's like, or like the devil could have gotten into this kid, and sorry, for y'all, insurance doesn't cover it, cover exorcisms and stuff. And I'm just like, are we gonna lose Don real early? Like, is he gonna get cray? Cause yeah, but I mean, I know things are going crazy, but the things he's saying, I'm like, please do not be one of them crazy people that are, when they in movies and everything, they get highly religious and they start their bow. We not about to do that up in here. Like, this is already a problem. You can't be a problem also. So in the midst of his little rant, he trips and falls. He loses his weapon, and he, he's looking around and he sees what he stumbled over, what he fell over. And it's Miss Murder Maker in the beginning that, traded bodies with, I guess, the little boy or whatever. And, he is like in shock, of course. And then he sees the wild dog, and the wild dog is right over his weapon, so there's no way he could grab this weapon. So he's slowly backing up and trying to get out the woods, and watching this dog, and he's like turning his back a little, like, I'm like, are you gonna turn your back? Because like, bro, no, you have to like ease out facing this dog all the way. There's no way you turn your back on this dog or whatever. But yeah, he's backing up so that he, can leave the woods, and he has no weapon with him. So we cut back to Mask Guy, and he drew 2 X's on the board and a blue circle around them. And so they like, what are you trying to say? So, he goes, oh, so are we the 2 X's? And he's like, yep. He's not talking, but he just shook his head, yes. And then he's like, and this is the blue line that's around us. And he's like, yes. And so the dad is like, you know what, screw this, we need your car. And he starts walking, and dude shoots up in the air like, I'm warning you, do not come over this line. At the same time, Don comes running out of the woods, and he's running towards them, and there's a whole fence around, and so he's like trying to get over this fence before this dog, who is now hot on his heels, chasing him. And he squeezed through the bars. I mean, well, it's a wooden one, so he squeezes through the groove, and he gets on the other side. Well, the dog bites him, and and he throws this dog, and the dog lands over the line. So they're watching as this dog that was just flung over this blue line is like whimpering and crying. So they're watching it, and then you can just like hear like it's the bones are breaking, and it's like almost like it's melting, but it's like breaking apart, and it's just it's gross. Okay. And then it just like forms this like just a weird shape, and just dies like with its body all broken up and open and spread open and everything. So they're like, oh my God. So Mask Guy, he bangs on his car to get their attention, and then he writes on his board like, don't cross the line. So now the neighbor is like, yeah, like, okay, now they're listening. Like, I don't want that happening to me. So now they understand and everything. So dude is like, you're gonna have to tell us what is happening, what's going on. And so he writes on his board again, don't trust anyone. Like, wow, bruh, don't trust anyone. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, this is getting good. This is already crazy. So yeah, neighbors like, what does that mean? Like, right? Because what are you talking about? Don't trust anyone. Like, don't trust each other. Don't trust outsiders. Like, people that may come here. Like, don't trust. What do you mean? Don't trust anyone? So dude is done answering any questions. He is done writing on his little board. He takes his stuff. He goes back in his car, and they're like, "What are you doing? Like, where are you going?" And he drives off. And they're sitting there looking at this dog, and they're just like, what in the hell? Like, bruh, like, you cannot like leave us in this blue circle and not tell us, what do you know? Like, how do you know that? How did you know that that was going to happen? Has it already happened where you are? Like, it's so many questions. And you like, it is our ear, the bad ear. And then when we go to the good ear, that happens. Or are y'all messed up? So I don't know, but it's crazy because he also needs a gas mask. But then when he get in his car, he takes his gas mask off. So is it just within a certain amount of area, or if is he just basically just in case? But because me, I'd have my gas mask on the whole time. Then if I know that that's happening. So is there like little patches? What if you happen on, like, you're driving and a patch of this stuff is out there? Like, no, I'd have my mask on like the whole time. Like, bruh, I'd have been like, could you at least bring us back, back some mask or something? But I don't even know if that'll help. And when you look at this dog, like, okay, pause it or go back and pause it and look at it. It does not look like, it looked like bones, but why does it look crazy? Right? Look at how it's formed. It's like almost like bone tentacles or something. It does not look like a regular anatomy of a dog. So I don't know if whatever it got into him from the smoke, if it just, transformed into something crazy and it can't breathe oxygen. I don't know. But there's clearly oxygen before it got here, so I don't know. It's crazy. So now we're back in the kitchen, and Claire, who is Don's wife, is restless. So she's like, you know what? This is silly. I'm going to go home. I'm going to take Duke, and we're going to head over there. I have a landline. I'm going to call 911. I'm going to bring my car, and, I'll come right back. And so they're like, no, I don't think you should go, whatever. And she's like, I'm going home. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, she's already annoying. Like, you are just dying to get home or whatever. So she takes Duke and they give her a lamp and she starts walking or whatever. Now the men outside are like, what is going on? Mind you, they all heard this gunshot. I mean, they know that it came from Mass Dude, but the women was like, you heard that gunshot? And she was like, yeah, and I think that's my husband, who took care of the problem or whatever. So she's leaving now. As she's leaving, Duke is having none of it. Duke is like, As she gets closer to this blue line to head home, Duke is like, And, he starts pulling on her. And she's like, what's wrong with you? Mind you, the men are running and they're like, clear, clear, clear. Like, go back. Don't cross the blue line. And she turns to them and she's like, I'm going home. Duke breaks free. He runs back to the house. Duke is not going with her and everything. And she's like, I'm going home. So she still proceeds to walk to this line. So now her husband is trying to stop her from crossing the line. She's right up on it. And he's like, you can't go over there. And she's like, what's going on or whatever. And she's like, get off me. So as he's trying to hold her and keep her on this side. And she snatches herself away and then she falls over the line. And, he is just like trying to grab her. So his arm goes over the line. Part of his arm goes over. And he immediately pulls his arm back. And it starts to corrode. It just starts to crumble and fall apart. It's like it starts to melt, basically. And he's in pain. And he's looking at it like, oh, my God. And then they all start to focus on his wife. Claire starts to break down. Her body just pretty much the same like the dog, and she's bent up and like her body parts are falling out of her body, and she is like twisted into this like grotesque kind of shape, and her arm is up, and whichever way you die is that's how you stay. So I can't even imagine them having to see that and to show the other people, like if they come out and see that and they're just stuck there, like, and like the light that she had with her is like flickering and it's like on her, so it's like showing her face and, you know, and pain, and oh, it's crazy. So I'm just like, they came from their land, you know, their home, and came up on the farm property. So whatever was there was already there. I guess this gas or whatever was already there, and they were fine coming in to it because it wasn't over there on their side, on their land. So it's like once you cross over there to the farmland, like I guess you're pretty much stuck over there and you can't leave and go back out into the fresh air. I'm guessing, I'm assuming. But this show is really intriguing already. From the first 2 episodes, I am highly invested. So back in the room where Arlo and his mom, she hears the commotion that's going on with Claire, and she tells him that they need to go back downstairs, and then you hear the high frequency, and so that means, like, you know, he's about to not be himself again. And he says, "Run, run, hide, hid, nice man, gunshot." And then you hear the frequency again, and he says, we need to hide, because he first picks up the big dictionary book that was in the room in the beginning, and he's looking for a word, and then he shows her the word trap, and he says trapped, and then he says, we need to hide. And she's like, who is he? And he says, the man in my head. He says that we're trapped and we need to hide. And she's like, why? And he's like, because it's coming, Mom, and it'll kill anything in its way. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I would listen to my child, and I'm like, did he say where we should hide? What we hiding from and everything? When, like, should we start now? Because, like, bruh, I'm going to hide. I'm going to listen to my child. And when she get outside and she see what happened to Claire and old crazy dog, it's not going to be good. I am so invested. I know I might have said that already, but I am very invested. What do you guys think? Let me know if y'all going to be watching this show. Let me know what y'all thought about this show. Let me know if you want me to, talk about any other shows. Like, I've been watching Grotesquerie. I was going to do videos on that, but it started off strong and I'm not even sure if I'm going to finish it. I do like to finish what I start, even if it's starting to suck, but they might just get one season out of me. So let me know, because that's getting weird. But I will be doing From for this next season, for this season now that we're on, because that is my show. Like, I am so invested in that. Are y'all invested in that? Do y'all want me to do From and, talk about it? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you thought about this show in the comments below. If you haven't already, like, subscribe so y'all can hear more. Also, talk to me. I'm going to respond to y'all. I'm going to respond as much as I can. And let's get into this. I think American Horror Stories is about to be coming out too, if it hasn't already. And there's another show, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I have so many shows. I love watching shows. I love watching movies and stuff like that. So if there's any that you want to suggest, also put that down in the comments if you thought it was good. Try not to give me something that is like is bad. Please don't. But comment things that y'all are watching, that y'all want to talk about and discuss and everything, and we can discuss those shows as well. Okay, that's it for now. Have a good day.